2013's October blizzard had many wide-ranging repercussions on western South Dakota. It toppled trees, left many without power for days, and its heavy, wet snow killed tens of thousands of animals the state's livestock industry depends on.
Tonight, Brendyn Medina begins his two-part look at the storm and its aftermath in his special report, Disaster on the Plains, A Rancher's Recovery.
Nearly $1 million has been raised for the Rancher Relief Fund.
The county accrued more than $500,000 in storm expenses.
The total cost of cleanup for the city sits at around $2.5 million.
Nearly 3 months after October's blizzard, crews in Sturgis are still working to remove hundreds of tree branches.
South Dakota Senator John Thune says the losses from last month's blizzard are exactly why a new farm bill needs to be passed.
Mother Nature is a reality of the ranching industry and of what we do. You know, we've had cold weather, we've had bad blizzards, we've certainly had death loss in livestock, but a 36-hour event like this that killed so many animals is really something that we've never seen before.
Sylvia Kristen has spent her entire life in agriculture. In 2009, she took over as executive director of the South Dakota Stock Growers Association, but none of that prepared Kristen for what her office experienced in the days and weeks after the October blizzard.
But I certainly wasn't hearing any reports of massive death losses until really Sunday afternoon and Monday morning. That was the first time that many of those families were able to get out, really find their animals, and started discovering some of the really gruesome things that we found.
It's a reality all too true for South Dakota rancher Philip Cruz. He and his young family have carved out their own slice of heaven about an hour east of Rapid City. But making their way back to South Dakota from a family trip, arriving home that October weekend was anything but paradise.
I started seeing dead cows along the road, and I realized then it was much more severe than I anticipated.
In the days after the storm, Cruz and his family worked to take account of just what toll the storm took on the ranch.
I had a couple brothers helping, and we figured on this one pile in the, is in a vein of the hill here, we figured there's 40 in there. When we ended up pulling them all out, there was 77 in that one pile. So it was, it started sinking in. It's a pretty big hit.
The work of cleaning up their ranches was really something that was very personal to many of them, and something that they worked together with their neighbors to get kind of their own lives picked back up and cleaned up on their ranches.
All told, more than 50% of Cruz's animals had succumbed to the storm, many of which were scheduled to be sold in the weeks after they died.
You get your income once a year, and you're expecting to pay some bills with that money. Well, the money wasn't there, and the bills still need paid. As
ranchers, we take very seriously the responsibility to care for those animals. Those animals are dependent on people to take care of them. They're dependent on the ranchers who own them. And I know for many of the families who lost livestock in this storm, they felt very personally and deeply that they had failed the animals that they were responsible for.
I want to be a good caregiver to my animals and take good care of them, and I felt I let them down. And so yes, there was definitely an emotional toll.
And be sure to join us for part 2 of Brendyn's special report, where he'll take a closer look at the months after the storm and show us just how far ranchers have come in the process of recovery. You can catch that report tomorrow night right here on Black Hills Fox News at 9.